tiebreaker, 2 games left in the season after this. Like, does this feel at all like you're preparing for a playoff game?
Yeah, if playoff games were played 3.5 days after you played your last game. But yeah, no, it's a more than that. It's just a jam-packed week of trying to get to know everything you can about the New Orleans Saints and how they play ball. But obviously, we're not immune to understanding what the implications are. But this is another football game we got to get prepared for in a short amount of time, both physically and mentally. That's what we're doing right now, except for when I'm sitting here talking to you guys.
Do you notice any difference, either physically or mentally, getting ready for a short turnaround in this year of your career versus maybe earlier?
Mentally, probably a little bit easier. Physically, probably a little bit harder. But yes, both. It's obviously different than a normal week for us, which is, a lot of times, it's a race to Sunday anyways. We're just shortening it by a few days.
That was really hard last year. You went through, obviously different locations.
Yeah.
There. So is there any extra emotional attachment
No.
to this game?
No, played a lot of football, had a lot of hits here and there. Just enjoying the opportunity to go out and play.
At training camp, there was a lot of talk about such turnover on this team. I know you guys don't pay attention to most of the narrative, but is there a sense of satisfaction knowing you exceeded expectations? You guys are in the race.
I don't think anybody's satisfied at the moment, to be honest with you. And if you are, in the wrong place. There's a lot to be had, throughout the rest of the season. But we got to take it one game at a time. We understand that. I do think that Coach has done an unbelievable job of keeping everybody's focus week to week. That's what we're trying to do as leaders of the team, is just make sure that we're focused solely on what's going on, what's right in front of us. It's really a whole lot easier to do sometimes when you have a Thursday game, right? Like, if you're spending time thinking about something else, you're wrong. You're not getting prepared. So all our guys are all in, and that's a good thing. That's where we want to be.
Is this tougher if it was a division opponent, someone you guys had a lot of familiarity with? The fact that it's not, does that make it even tougher?
Yeah, a little bit, but they're doing the same thing for us. So I think it's not an ultra familiar opponent. Obviously, we played them last year, so there's a little bit of something there. But teams change over the years, from year to year. Personnel changes, a little bit of scheme tweaks here and there. So Thursdays, the games that I've been a part of, whether it be a Thanksgiving Day game or a Thursday night game, the team that goes out there and plays, the most physical and executes and does the basic stuff of football the right way, usually has a pretty good chance at being successful.
Now that you're trying to get to know this version of this defense this year, what do you notice about how they construct their defense?
Yeah, I mean, they're really physical. Always have been. They play sticky coverage on the outside. They do a great job of rushing the passer. Obviously they've got some veterans at all three levels of their defense that are players that have played in this league for a long time that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and that are still playing at a high level. So it'll be a big challenge for us. We'll get out there on Thursday and see what we got.
A couple more, guys. I can't recall if you guys did this in 21 or 22, but when you guys go to the Wildcat, what's that like for you?
I think it's my first time out. Yeah, I think. I might be wrong, but.
So what's kind of going through your mind with
man.
that play call and running out?
I just don't think anybody believes I'll ever get it out there, which is probably true. But I did yell reverse on that one, and I think I peeled 2 D linemen off, so they don't know who's yelling it. And I think it worked. But no, it was a good play design, and glad we got some yards.
What do you enjoy about playing in primetime games?
All of it, really. I mean, anytime you get to play football in the NFL, I think it's a blessing, and it's just such a privilege. But primetime games are a lot of fun. This one's just jam-packed into a short week, so just doing everything I can to try and get ready, but enjoy the experience and go play ball. Thanks, guys. One's for free.
Go ahead, guys.
What stands out to you about the Saints O-line?
I think they play good together. Obviously, they got some injuries, got some different pieces there, but I think they got a good running back, a quarterback. They got some experience to throw the ball well. So we just got to do a good job of stopping the run first and then getting after the quarterback. So
Recovery was such a big thing that we saw in the locker room right after the game. You've always been big on that. Could you do more of it? And could you kind of explain what your body feels like on Thursdays?
I feel good on Thursdays. I feel good right now. Obviously, you just got to try to jam stuff in a couple of days. You really don't get the rest after the game because it's right to recovery. Mondays, you got to go right to trying to do a lot in one day. So it's good. My days is a little longer at home. I really don't get to, go to sleep until a little later. But, just taking care of my body, feeling good right now. Just being a pro. So.
You had popped up as questionable last week. Are you feeling okay now? What led to you actually getting out?
I feel good. It was a little tight, but obviously when it came game time, I was good. Didn't have no problems. Obviously they wanted to be smart with it just in case, but felt good. Feel good now. I'm ready to go. So. Yep.
Do you think Raheem Morris will be a head coach again? And if so, why do you think he would be a good one?
He's a great coach. I think hopefully he get his opportunity. I think he deserve it for what he did, what he's been doing here. Great guy. Hopefully he gets his opportunity. We'll see. So.
Does this game, being late in the season with you guys, playoff situation and the Saints, does this have the feel a little bit of like a playoff game?
I think every game's like a playoff game now, right? We ain't got much room for no losses. Obviously going week to week, but every game's a big game. Can't afford to lose no more games. So, that's what make it fun. That's what make it exciting. Then it's a primetime game. So you got to go out there, do what we need to do to find a way to win. And we at home, so you don't want to lose. So.
Obviously, every game's important, but both AC Carter and Coach Henney are from the New Orleans area and have a background there. And do you sense a little added juice to them this week?
No, honestly, I you just reminded me about that. Ain't nobody said nothing about it, but now I just got a little fire to it. So that's gonna be something good for him. So we got to make it happen. So.
And Henney is notoriously really hands-on as a coach and really demanding of his players. And it seems like every year he expects the same of his assistant as well. What has their dynamic been like, and have you enjoyed working with both of them again this year?
Oh yeah, Henny and AC have been great. I think AC's you can tell he loves football. He's into it. I think he do a lot as far as working with the young guys as well after practice, staying as long as they want to stay, working on pass rush stuff, nonstop working with them. So I think we got a good group. We got some great coaches. Obviously, been with Henny for a few years now. Built a great relationship with him that was going to last forever. And then adding AC to the mix, a guy that love the game, that know what he's talking about. It just do nothing but help us. So.
How much have you seen this defense grow, especially the younger guys? I know Raheem talked about, he's seeing you really go after it, but at times you got coaching up some of the younger guys. What have you seen the maturation?
Just guys coming into their own. I think I said every week, guys becoming productive guys, and it ain't just 1 week. It's doing it week in and week out, consistently putting it on out there and finding a way to be productive and playing with confidence, right? So that's what it's about. Once you're out there, you win some games, you have some success, you can do it at this level, and you just, you work from there and continue to grow. So obviously they playing some good football. We got to continue to do that, and just 1 week at a time and just keep playing good ball. So
We've talked a lot about how different the energy has been with all the young guys in the locker room. Was there any moment for you in training camp when you realized how different the dynamic was?
Well, you got to think. For me, I'll say this: it felt like a new team, even though it's the same team, but it was pretty much everybody was different. You got Ernest, a couple guys that was out there that you played with, but for the most part, it was a lot of new pieces that you never played with, didn't know what to expect. So to start seeing everything come together where we at right now, a lot of growth came from camp to now. So I'm just excited where we at right now. Obviously, we still always got a room for improvement. We ain't where we need to be, where we want to be, but I think we playing some good football. Guys is flying around, being productive, and we finding ways to do what we need to do to win games. So.
How strange was that feeling that your team is now a completely new team?
It was different, but it's a support of the business, I guess, right? So just adapt, do what you need to do to help the guys and grow with them, learn with them, trying to build with them, and we here now. So
Last one.
I know you're just concerned about taking care of your own business, but do you scoreboard watch? Like, do you check to see if teams around you guys have won or lost when you get back to the locker room?
no, I don't. Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I heard. I don't think they were involved in the play, but we'll give them the credit for it.
How do you describe a short week like this, physically and mentally?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you're certainly like you're trying to get your body turned over. Today was basically 2 days worth of plays going in, installs wise, and so it's like you've got a lot of stuff coming at you, and you're at the same time trying to get your body turned over and get ready to go for a Thursday game. So it is a lot, but everyone's got to do it.
How much tougher is it doing it 2 games in a row on turf? I mean, I know you've talked about this, but now that it's here.
You're just poking the bear, aren't you?
I mean, now that it's here and you're in the midst
Yeah.
of having to deal with it, what's...
Yeah, as you know, I hate it. I am not a fan of turf in general, and it's obviously tough going back to back on short week. But it is what it is. I mean, I know people are certainly aware of it. If there's going to be change that's going to come, it's not from a shortage of. It's not because people don't know, So it is what it is. Like I said, it's the same thing about playing Thursday night. Everyone's got to do it. Everyone's got to play on turf, and just part of this game, and you got to deal with it.
When you have a game like this, prime time, team even in the standings with you, and just a couple games left, does this feel like you're preparing for a playoff game at all?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I've touched on this before. You treat every game the same, and you take it 1 week at a time. And this is our biggest game of the year because it's the next game, and our preparation doesn't change because of any implications outside of that. A playoff game is you lose and you go home. That's what a playoff game is. That's not what we're doing here. But that doesn't change whether it's a playoff game or a normal game, whatever it is. Your process, the way you approach it, the mentality you have does not change. And I'm a big believer in that. If you feel like you've got to step things up because of outside forces making you prepare better, I would say, well, why can't we get that from you every week? So that's the mentality I take. That's the mentality a lot of guys take.
What do they do well?
Man, a lot of things. I think Coach Allen over there has done a really good job with they're just instilling the identity that those guys have. They fly around. You got guys up front that rush the passer. The DBs on the back end that work together very well. Instinctual guys, some really good athletes as well, and play sticky. They've made plays. They've been able to turn the ball over, and they play together. The best things that defenses do is they play together. They play off each other well, and I think these guys do a pretty good job of that.
When you're getting to know Puka earlier this year, is there a question that he asked of you when you can go back and think about it, and that was where you sort of turned your head and said, okay, you kind of got it?
Yeah, and I think it was. I think I can't remember exactly what the question was. There was one back in OTAs that he asked. It's like, yeah, this is someone's asking questions. It's not what do I have? It's why do I have this? And he's trying to find out. It's almost like, can I do this? Is this within the bounds of what I can do? And that was a pretty cool thing for a rookie who's just learning the offense and has so many things going through his head to be thinking about.
Do you remember when you were that rookie, and were you asking those kind of questions too, or were you more quiet?
Yeah, I think I'm very thankful. I had Woody here my rookie year, and he was awesome to me. Took me under his wing and was always open to letting me ask questions. And I hope I didn't annoy him too much, but I did ask a lot of questions. But yeah, I would like to think those are the kind of questions I was asking. But but Puka is definitely one of those guys that understands his game and wants to be the best that he can for us.
What does having Tutu back for this game mean in terms of you guys' overall depth at receiver?
Yeah, I mean, Tutu is a very explosive receiver. It was tough to see him go down, but so glad he's back out there with us again. And obviously the juice that he brings, his ability to stretch the field, it's a pretty special trait of his. And I think he's everyone knows him for being able to get down the field, but I'm underestimated in terms of just the toughness that he plays with and being able to do kind of all the stuff that we ask our receivers to do.
What depth overall what does that depth overall do for you guys as an offense when you add him to the mix on top of obviously the place that DeMarcus has been making too?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I think you have guys that can come in and, if you need a rest, if you need to do that, we're able to rotate guys out and whoever steps up. And even when Tutu was down, I think Austin Trammell came in and did a great job. TJ was up this last week, did an incredible job in practice. And, I think there's just the depth of our room in general. There's the trust in whoever it is that's on the field. And guys know that they're going to be expected to do everything. It's not about just catching the ball and run with it. It's blocking. It's doing all the other stuff. And I think all of our guys can do that, and they've shown it throughout the course of this year. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Internally, how do you guys manage this week? What's the energy like from the coaching staff perspective on a tight turnaround like this?
Yeah, it's wild, but all 32 teams have to do it. So you just kind of get used to it, and at least it's a level playing field, right? They played Sunday, we played Sunday. So I mean, it's one thing for us, another thing for the players. They're the ones that have to not only get mentally ready, they got to get physically ready. So there's no woe is me as coaches. I mean, we just try to put the best plan for these guys, so they can go out and execute on Thursday, and they're doing everything they can to get their bodies right for that.
How did you see Kyron react and kind of rebound to those two fumbles to keep his head up
Like you guys all did, I mean, you just bounced back. We just kept giving him the ball. You trust Kyron, I mean, obviously he never wants to put the ball on the ground. He put it on twice. but he bounced back, and the guys all had his back. You just keep feeding him. And I thought he ended great. I thought that was big for him too, because you're thinking about it, obviously. And he just went back to the fundamentals. I thought Ron did a great job with all those guys. I could hear him coaching them up at halftime and just saying, stick to your training there. And he got a lot of opportunities in that second half, and he made the most of it.
Go ahead, Gary.
No, go ahead.
Cooper was saying today felt like 2 days in one in a short week.
It was.
What's it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it is that, I mean, it's you installed first and second down at whatever time it was today, and then a few hours later you say, hey, welcome to Thursday, guys. Here we are in third down. So it's a lot of information to absorb. But again, it's all level. It doesn't matter. It's all on the same playing field. And again, it's one thing for coaches, a whole nother thing for players, because again, they have to mentally and physically get prepared for this. And kudos to them for doing that.
Have you ever been through a head coach interview process?
Not an official head coach interview, no.
How do you feel? Are you prepared for that if that's an opportunity that comes up, and what makes you think you might be?
I am. What day is it today? we got the.
This is the coaches are being replaced. Searches are beginning, and you're in a position that historically here has, helped people springboard to your brother included.
Sure.
So, I'm just curious if that opportunity arises. Do you feel like you're prepared for it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm prepared for it because of the people I've been around. I've been around some really, really good coaches and some guys that are just awesome leaders. Sean, Kyle, what Sal has done with some difficult circumstances at times, So, and that's just to name a few. Obviously I got the resource from my brother. But to answer your question, not even concerned at all about that because it's not right for our players. It's not right for me to even put any thought process into that. I respect the question. I understand the question. It's so cool because of what Sean has built here and the respect and regard he has around this league. But what a challenge we have Thursday.
When Sean was talking with you through the hiring process of hiring you, how would you describe Matthew Stafford to you?
You'll love him, and I get why. In 2021, when Salah was going kind of through the interview circuit, he obviously interviewed in Detroit, and knowing that I was going to go with him basically wherever he went, obviously I did my homework on it too, and it was easy from the film, but you want to, kind of tap into what's going on in that locker room and everything, and everything I heard from Detroit was incredible, probably undersold in some ways, and he was sold at a very high level there in terms of the character of that man, how the guys respect him in that locker room, the toughness that he brings both mentally and physically, how it just goes, how it seeps through the entire building. When 9 takes the field, every single player, coach, anyone affiliated with the Rams feels like they have a shot on any given Sunday or, this Thursday, and there's not many people in the world that can instill that kind of confidence in that many people.
You mentioned his toughness. Where do you see that?
In every aspect of his game, physically and mentally, he's unfathomable. He's just, no matter what happens, he can always bounce back from it. And he doesn't always have to bounce back, but inevitably it's the NFL, and he's playing the hardest position in all sports. So there's going to be some not great things or things he wants back, and he just learns from it within the moment and just keeps on swinging. So it's been awesome. Every week I'm in awe a little bit more from him, and I know his teammates are too, especially the ones, we got a lot of young guys, and so they're kind of seeing it firsthand like I am, and you can see it on their faces. And again, when he's out there, you always feel like you got a shot in the fight.
What's the most impressive throw you've seen him make?
God, he's made so many good ones. Let's go with the most recent, that one to Higgs on the right sideline on that third and, don't quote me on this, it was 3rd and 6 or a little bit less, in our plus territory. And to be able to find Higgs there and how he did that was incredible. But he's had a million of them. I probably already starting to take for granted some of the incredible throws that he makes, and he just continues to do it. And he's feeling good. You can tell that hands. I don't know if it's 100%. You'd have to ask him, but you can see the look in his eye when he knows he's feeling good.
We've asked you about those throws earlier in the season. You said he had every club in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
What you've based on what you've seen since, I think that was early October when we asked you about that, how would you describe it now?
Yeah, he's I don't know what the PGA, how many clubs you get, but he's stealing. He's putting a little too many. He's putting too many extra in there right now. And again, there's, you know, to kind of your question from last week. It's you know, you don't teach that stuff. That is, you try to help him as much as possible, just as like he helps us as coaches, because he's the one seeing it. And he's done it at such a high level for so long. So you just try to provide anything you can from him from a schematic standpoint, any little tidbit. But the stuff he does with the arm, it's not coming from me or Zach or Sean or anyone. That's just some special talent that he was born with.
A couple weeks ago, he throws the touchdown on an audible against Cleveland at Puka, that he audibled there. And then after this game, Cooper's like, he was frustrating their entire defense because he was seeing things. Can you explain how common or uncommon that is for quarterbacks to see that? Does he see more, or how common is that?
Yeah, I think he sees more probably than most, you know. And again, that goes back to the amount of success he's had as a pro and the amount of years he's put into this thing. But he sees little things that a lot of guys can't see. You know, he can see. I don't even want to get too far into it, you know, in terms of what he's looking at, because it's a competitive advantage for him and our team, you know. So he just does it at an extreme level that is I'd say uncommon. Yes.
I wanted to ask you about, you know, we first I think saw a little extra flourish from him in the postseason, that 2021 season against Tampa Bay, spiking the ball and letting out, you know, a screen at that point.
Sure.
Do you see a kind of a flourish with him in the way that he executes things? I'm thinking of that fake end around to DeMarcus and then throws where he's kind of got the finger guns going.
He's a very fundamentally sound quarterback. Takes pride in that. It's about as pure of a thrower as you have, but he enjoys it too. You know, like you said on the end around and stuff like that. I mean, it's he does things that, you know, you got to look at the tape like 5 seconds after the play's done, and he's doing some things, and that just tells you the comfort level he has, A, in this offense, but B, just playing the game. Like he's played a lot of football, right? But for him to be able to just go out there, execute his job at a high level, and then also just have fun with it and be in the moment, it's awesome to see. It's really cool. So, thanks, guys.
Here you go.